You saved lives.
Sorry?
You saved lives.
I know why you're all here, so.
We appreciate you talking to us.
And I appreciate, the coverage. I don't consider myself a hero at all. Did what I was trained to do and what I was, that was the whole purpose of what went down. As I stated on my Facebook page, gives you full detail of what went down. When the individual came into the building, we were aware that there was some concerns for him. We were already watching him. We had cameras turned on him. Plus, Richard White was, one of the members of the security team was right behind him to his right about 4 feet. I was standing to Richard's right about another 6 feet when the individual got up, produced a shotgun, shot Richard, because Richard and I were both drawing our weapons at the same time, which is shown on the live stream. Then he shot Richard, then shot, Tony Wallace. And at that point, I didn't have a clear shot because people were standing up. Finally got about a second later, had a clear shot, and I took the shot. The shooter went down. Went over to cover and pulled the shotgun away from his body. And then, other people that are armed in the church that are part of the security team, came forward, to help, in case he did try to get up, which he did not.
Sir, how did you know that he was potentially...
He had on a fake beard and a fake wig with a toboggan on his head and wearing a long coat. From where I was standing, I could see his right hand at all time, pretty much at all times. Could not see his left hand. And apparently, with the shotgun he had, which was a 18-inch short barrel, 12 gauge, with a pistol grip on it, which is a legal firearm, he, had it evidently in his pocket. I don't know this for fact. Evidently in his pocket and underneath his armpit, underneath the the long coat. I know he discharged 2 rounds and possibly a 3rd round as he was going down, because one round went towards the front of the sanctuary. After he shot Richard and Tony, he went and started towards the front of the sanctuary, and that's when I was able to engage him, and I fired 1 round.
You had eyes on him the moment he walked in the door?
Sir,
From the time he walked in the door, we had eyes on him, both physical eyes and cameras.
are you processing this? I mean, what are you thinking, or is it just instinct? You see a weapon and you draw yours?
My training, says that if I see a weapon, especially in that scenario, because that is my job. I am the deacon in charge of security at the church, and the people that were on the security team, we have spent numerous hours training and working on just this type of scenario, hoping it never happens. And those people who have known me and been in my classes know from the past, you train, but you hope you never have to go to that extreme. But if you do, your training will kick in, and that was evident yesterday.
You mentioned that you took a pause because there were people in the area.
And there were people in front of me, between the shooter and myself, trying to get, because the chaos that erupted when he shot the first time, some of the people stood up and were trying to get in the way. I had to wait just a second because the whole thing was less than 6 seconds from start to finish. And, that was, I had to make sure I didn't hit it, someone, a member there, as they were right in front of me.
And at any point, did you want to go check on Tony and Richard? You've talked about them right now. It sounds like they were friends.
Because other people were already coming in to check on them, my goal was to make sure the shooter didn't get up. And, when I went over to cover him, I wanted to make sure that he was not going to get up. So that was my focus.
When you approached him, I'm
sorry.
No worries. When you approached him, did he say anything? Did he do anything?
There was no verbal communication out of him whatsoever at that point. He was down. He was bleeding profusely from his head, and the only movement was, just body twitching, which, happens, when someone is in that condition where they're about to die.
The rounds that put him down were yours.
Yeah, there was only one. I only fired one round, and it was, you know, the only shot I had, which, you know, was a headshot. Which, you know, in my classes I teach not to take headshots, but, you know, that was what I felt. You know, that's the only shot I had a clear shot, and I was comfortable taking the shot because of my training and my practice.
Sir,
A lot
have you
of
had a
people are
chance?
alive this morning because of you, sir.
Well,
What do you feel
I feel
about
confident of that because, you know, when an individual is using 12 gauge short barrel shotgun with double aught buck in it, which is what he had in it, then, you know, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Have you had a chance to just process and reflect at this point?
I'm processing the fact that I lost two good friends yesterday. Richard and I go back a ways, and we're, you know, fairly close. Tony, you know, is also deacon at the church, but at the same time, I don't feel like I killed an individual. I killed evil, and that's how I'm approaching it. That's how I'm processing.
Some parishioners have said that you guys didn't always have a security team, that this is something that was fairly new. Why did you guys decide to put this in place?
When we moved into that building a year and a half ago now, just because of the general area, the location in relation to Las Vegas Trail and I-30, we felt like that, you know, this needed to be addressed because in 2018, there were 5 homicides within 2 miles of the building. There's been 2 this year. And so, you know, the people that volunteered, and all of us volunteered, none of us are paid, volunteer to, you know, do that task. We installed cameras and security system, you know, the cameras both inside and out. Having watched the video of when the subject approached the building from coming north off of Las Vegas Trail into the parking lot, we were, you know, aware that there was a possible probable concern, and we're watching him from that point at full.
You watched him cross the parking lot?
Yes, from the, well, not, I watched, you know, the video replays of him crossing the parking lot after the fact, but I did not see him actually walking across the parking lot when he come into the building from the.
Are you grateful in Texas you can carry inside a house of worship?
Yes, because if you look at all of the situations that have occurred in churches, you know, that's becoming, you know, is prominent, and, you know, the churches need to pay attention to what's going on around them. In fact, when I took my first LTC training, CHL LTC training in 1995 at DTS Austin, and I was in the second class they even offered, one of the things that stood out then was that they made the statement that in Texas, and this was in 1995, at least one church is robbed every Sunday in the state of Texas. I don't know what that number is today, but I know that's something that has stood with me, you know, all this time. As a CHL/LTC instructor and private firearms instructor, that is the way I approach things. You have to be, you know, trained, and you have to practice with it.
Sir, if you would speak a little more about your background. Do you have any law enforcement
I was a reserve deputy sheriff in Hood County here from 1980 to 86, and my work at that time required more time, so I, you know, had to get out of that because I didn't, you know, have time to continue that. I'm still a TCO law enforcement instructor, along with LTC and CHL instructor also, and NRA firearms instructor.
There are people that are calling you a hero.
I don't see myself as a hero. I see myself as doing what needed to be done to take out the evil threat. You know, that was, you know, that's the way I approach it. That is, you know, and like I said earlier, that's how I am, you know, processing this whole event.
What are your plans for the rest of the day? I know there's service tonight. Will you be there?
Yes, I will. That is, in fact, after we got through with the interviewing with Texas Ranger yesterday, I was free to leave, and they were still interviewing all the people that were in the auditorium. And I said, I'm not leaving until they're free to leave, and I didn't. That's just, I take the, you know, the task that I have there serious, and I will continue to take it serious.
Do you have any insight into why this man
No.
chose y'all's church?
No, we don't have any insight. I have not been given anything. I don't even know the individual's name. The only thing I saw was the age of the fatalities range from 33 to 60, and I know Tony and Richard are in that. They're not. Neither one of them are 33, so I'm assuming, that the shooter probably is the one that they're classifying as 33.
And
I don't know that.
Just to be clear, he did not look familiar in any way?
No, not at all. But what really chimed in was the fact that he was wearing a wig and a fake beard and a toboggan on his head, and the long coat. That was what really enlightened us and set us to watching him closer.
And you said somebody had a visual of him from the parking lot via a camera.
The camera's outside. When I installed the security system and the camera system in the church, we made sure that we had cameras outside on the parking lot and inside, physically inside the the auditorium and in the rest of the church building also.
How long have you been head of security there?
Since we moved there a year and a half ago. Since that time, yes.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And
Just a couple of quick personal notes. You're a father, a grandfather. Can you tell us just a little more about yourself?
We have 3 daughters. We've lived here in the county since 1977. We bought property down in this county in 70. We have 3 daughters, all went through the school system here. 2 of the daughters and their families still live here in the county. 1 daughter and her family live in Argyle. Okay. And we got a total of 10 grandkids and 1 great-granddaughter. Okay. So, and she's 19 months old now, so but we take very seriously what goes on and the training that we do.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Appreciate it.